Welcome to the very last day of our series of webinars for March Lymphedema Awareness Month 2021. And we're really excited to welcome SD Jopes to do the sponsored portion. And we are also happy to welcome Kiti Adderley, who will be doing the educational portion. It's more of an inspirational talk that we hope that you will all benefit from. But before we get started, I would like to introduce my team to you because they are such an important part of what makes the NLN tick. And first up is Alyssa Fiorito. She is the NLN Garment Program Manager. Below her is Veronica Senares. She is our social media manager. Below me is Christy Blair. She is our project manager. And also who could not join us today are three other members, Nicole Ballard, who is our membership manager, Jennifer Williams, who is our continuing education manager, and last but not least, Erin Sokolsky, who is our marketing manager. Thank you, ladies, for everything that you do, and thank you so much for doing all of the behind the scenes work throughout this month. I couldn't have done it without you, so thank you.
So Jeanette, I'm interrupting you for a minute. On behalf of your team, we would like to toast to you on this last night of these meetings, because you've done such an amazing job and you are amazing, fearless leader of lymph, and we love you. And we just want you to know that we always have your back, and we were very happy to have been able to do this with you this month.
Aw, thank you so much, guys. That means the world to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you too. Oh my gosh. I mean, it was the best thing to have my team on with me. And you will see later on, I'm just going to add a little bit that it is so important to surround yourself with people like my team, because amazing people surrounding you makes all the difference in terms of your journey, whether it be a lymphedema journey, a professional journey, life journey. It's just important to surround yourself with an amazing team. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Okay, so it is now my pleasure to welcome Kiti Adderley. And she is a physiotherapist who owns a private practice in the Bahamas. And she and I go back to 2019. And she's going to be talking about basically sharing some things, some pearls of wisdom in terms of how to basically help you feel empowered and celebrated as a patient, just knowing that there's like so much to look forward to and there's so many positive things that can be done. And so it's my pleasure to welcome Kiti. Kiti, the floor is all yours. And if you could just unmute your mic, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for being here, for getting the information. So, Jeanette, I think if I'm allowed to, can I share my screen? I did do some slides.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. If you can just hit that green button right in the center with the up arrow, it says share screen right below it. And you can then just share your PowerPoint application.
Perfect. Ooh. There we go. Well, that's not the one we want today, although that's a good one for us to go through. Let me just get it and see. Here we go. Are you able to see it?
We still see the how to avoid burnout presentation. Maybe I'm going to stop your screen share one more time. And if you can just go ahead and click on the right presentation, that would be great.
Okay. All right, we have it now.
Looks good. I mean, it says, what is hope? Is that correct?
Perfect.
All right.
There we go. So hope. So everybody, when Jeanette reached out to me, she says, I really want you to come and I really want you to share some words of encouragement and hope with our patients. And I was like, sure, I could do that. I do that every day as a business owner, as a parent, as a daughter. In the time of COVID, us adjusting, we've had to girdle up and boost up our level of providing support and hope for everybody. And we keep throwing the word hope. Oh, I hope this thing passed. I hope we don't have to get this. I hope we can do this. I hope when this happens. And are we really paying attention to what the word hope means? All right. I'm a nature girl. As Jeanette said, I'm from the Bahamas. So I look for lessons in everything around me. And one of my special spaces is the beach, the waterfront, but more importantly, the sun. Watching the sunset and the sunrise, there's such a feeling of hope with that for me. And I decided that I'll put that as the background. So as we talk about it, you would see how you look forward. You examine what you've had before, but you look forward and how we're going to do that. We'll talk about it a little bit more. So what hope is we call it, it's a feeling of expectation, a desire for that particular thing. You want this, you want something different, you want something new, you want something better. Usually it's always a very positive feeling that you're going for. And amazingly enough, you have to trust that what you want is going to appear. You don't think about trust being so much as a big part of hope, but it is. And it's very important that you recognize that, because I think it's such a good thing to know that yes, even in this time of uncertainty, there's still things that you have to put your faith in and trust, right? You want something to happen, and it is the power to change your life, because if you ask for it, you hope for it, you trust that it's going to be happening, it's a belief. And as you move forward, I want that to be your mantra, your outlook, because what's the point of doing something if you don't expect any outcomes, right? And that anticipation and that outlook, you want to be hopeful that the things that you're working so hard for will come into fruition. So, oops. Got to get it to the next. There we go. So there's this great book called Hope Rising. I'll put the authors in a little later on. And they describe hope as a science. And I thought that was so cool. What they did is they looked at how hope affected everything that you did. And they tried to make it very scientific. So for medical professionals like myself and scientists, we like logic. We like to see it add up. And sometimes when you think about hope, it doesn't seem like a very logical thing. It's just something that you throw in the air, you expect it to happen, you hope it to happen. But it's beautiful how they took this feeling, this expectation, this word hope, and tied it into so many positive things and showed the correlation of how this happens and how this helps in the human body. So here's where we'll start. We'll start with healthy habits. So I took hope and made an acronym of it, right? Because people remember things once they're acronyms. And so, right, so we made an acronym of it. So H stands for healthy habits. We're going to identify the things that you need to add and improve, okay? So usually when you're hoping for something, you're hoping for better health, financial security, happiness, better relationships. You have to identify it. You have to call it out, you have to say it. And once you've identified it, then you need to figure out what are the limitations and what are the things that you need to do to make this happen. Once you have that down pat, the only thing you have to do is be consistent and be compliant. And so that's so involved, but I wanted to keep it extremely simple. So as you identify the things that you want, the things that you need to improve, the things that you need to add, and the things that you need to correct, you now have to form healthy habits that are going to help you make this thing manifest. we like to use the word manifest a lot when it comes to hope. So let's say, you know, I really want I want to walk faster. Well, you can hope as much as you want, but if you don't put the energy and effort into it, if you don't do the exercise, if you don't move frequently, the likelihood is that you won't achieve that goal. As much as you hope for it, you have to put some effort into it. The healthy habit of exercise and movement. You want to bring the best things forward in your life, you got to give your body the best it needs. So good fuel, proper nutrition, those things are so important. Healthy habits again coming in there. Hydration. It's all about fluid. It's all about movement. You need to keep that water intake in. Your body needs good water, good hydration for things to happen, for things to function properly. We need to pay attention to that. I think we really neglect that, especially as seasons change. Maybe in the summer, you may drink more water. You may be drinking more fluids, but is it necessarily water? You want to drink more water. I know in winter time, people don't tend to drink it, but you need to do that for healthy body. Your lymph flows better, you think better, circulation, everything feels a little better once you're hydrated. Kidneys function better. You know, I didn't want to go hardcore medical, but this is the point that's going to take you to get all the things you're hoping for. Let's give your body the best chance to be what it needs to be. And I will not neglect the rest. So many people on this panel, many people that have been in this conference are probably in the deficit right now with rest. But you think better, you process better when you rest. So making these things healthy habits, that goes towards your whole effort of being hopeful. You're creating positive energy, you're creating a positive environment, which is your body, for the things that you hope for and things to manifest. So you cannot neglect yourself in this process, and you definitely have to practice healthy habits consistently. So let's go to O. So mindset and attitude of hope for confidence and success. So that sounds so cliche, I sound like I'm marketing, but that's what it is. And we've actually started working on mindset the minute we've decided that we're going to do healthy habits and we're going to be consistent and compliant, because it's all about setting good intentions and then keeping the thoughts and actions feeding into that, right? So you have to constantly expect it. This is what you're going for. You set your mindset for that. Janice said, I want it to be positive as possible. Why not? Because we all need positivity coming left, right, and center. And this is what you do. You set the intention, you put yourself in an environment, you start creating those healthy habits that feed a positive mindset, that feed an attitude of hope. For some people, it may look like doing journaling. And every day you say, I am hoping for, I will be positive in this area. I will set the intention for this. I expect this to happen. And that's every day feeding that mindset of hope, feeding that mindset of optimism. And what they found, those artists, Gwyn was one of them, what they found is that people who exhibited hope and had that attitude of optimism had longer life. We all want that, but we want longer quality life. So we start with the healthy habits that we've already started with, and we move towards this mental attitude, this attitude of optimism. They found that optimism improves your immune system. All right, with all these viruses and illnesses and going around, you need to keep your immune system at its peak. We pride ourselves as lymphedema therapists as making sure your lymph flows. So we give your body the most healthy lymphatic environment to help you maintain and take care of your immune system. But also cardiovascular, your heart and your blood vessels do a whole lot better, and your overall physical function. You know, so it's one thing to have, I have all these years on my life, but am I able to move around and truly do the things that I want to do? We've found that being optimistic, having this hopeful mindset, this hopeful outlook does wonders for that. And it also does wonders for pain management, right? So if you're in pain, you seem to have a better response to your pain, or it doesn't affect you because you have a different mindset. I think that was absolutely awesome, especially for me as a physical therapist. So now I know that when I get back into the clinics, and even though I do it now, I think after putting this together for you guys, I really am going to push optimism is part of my treatment plan, because if I can help my patients manage their pain better, you know, a significant amount of my work is done, and then the people feel happier. You feel like you want to do more, because pain limits you. It can stress you. It does not make you feel hopeful. What's the point of looking for more time if I'm going to be so painful and unable to enjoy it? And so the last thing when it comes to optimism is always look for the lesson. I'm a big believer in this. I personally feel that I never lose, I learn. So if something didn't work out the way I wanted it to, or the way I hoped for it to happen, why didn't it happen? What is the lesson? What can I glean from this situation to do better, to change, to get the results that I feel that I want? And I say I feel that I want, because sometimes what we feel we want may not be the best for us, but it's good to be intentional, to have that optimistic mindset, to look for the lesson. Not just throw everything up in the air, oh, that doesn't work, I'm not going to fool with this anymore. Keep that optimism and look for the lesson in this. So we move along to P, practice being present. Now I was going to make this positivity, but I felt we talked about so much positivity before and optimism. What do you do when you're in the moment? Maybe when you're not too positive, because we have to look at that. It's not always going to be sunshine and sea and smooth seas. You're going to have some days that are going to be quite tumultuous. What do you do in those days, right? What do you do the day after something doesn't work out? You still want to be optimistic, you still want to be hopeful, but you, instead of looking way down the line, again, this comes back to looking at the lesson, but practicing the pause, being present. What am I supposed to learn right here in this moment? Am I observing everything that's happening to me? How is it influencing what's going on in my life? And that's so important. You know, I hear people say, oh, I can't wait to do this and I can't wait to do that. In the meantime, they're neglecting plans, they're neglecting children and neglecting relationships, because at that given day, they're too busy focusing for what they're hoping for, that they didn't even take the time to appreciate what you truly have in front of you. So every day, set the intention. What is the why of today, right? What am I going to do today that's going to make me go closer to what my goal is? Because yes, I still want my goal, what I'm hoping for, but today, what is that step? What am I going to focus on that's going to make me better, that's going to make me more positioned? What healthy habit am I going to make sure I carry out? Process those feelings of not so good feelings, right? Just shove them away. Sit with it and figure out, why am I feeling like this? Why what happened yesterday disappointed me? What can I do today to make it different? How would I change what I've done before? And what would I do different in the past? But it's being able to be present, to sit down and have those conversations, to believe that everything that you're experiencing is taking you towards that hope, that goal, that intention, that activity, that trip, whatever you've set before. All right. And so now we go with empowerment. And empowerment looks like this. Empowerment means showing up, putting yourself in spaces and places, putting yourself around people that are doing the things that you need to do, that are doing the things that are going to help you to attain the dreams, the goals, the hopes and desires that you want. Empowerment is reading the books. Empowerment is listening to the TED Talk or listening to the YouTube video that's speaking to the thing that you need help with. You have to keep yourself knowledgeable. It changes. And the best thing about it as well is that you have to be willing to learn and unlearn. I can tell you, as a PT of 21 years, there are things that I came out of physiotherapy school so sure I knew, and it was so stuck, and that's what I was taught. But I've learned that science changes a little bit. I mean, even if we look at what's happened with the coronavirus presentation from last, let's say December 2019 to now, this is a different, we approach this so much more differently, right? We've had to unlearn some things and new things that are added. But the thing is that we're staying present, we're staying engaged, we're trying to learn what we can learn to move this forward. And that's so valuable and that's so important. And there is nothing else that can empower you more than finding the people that you need to be around and asking for help. So I know that you've been exposed to a lot the last couple of days. the last few years, because the Lymphedema Network, the lymphedema community, we've really been at it, pushing information, trying to make sure that we bridge the gaps and fill the gaps. And so there's no such thing as a silly question. There's no such thing as a weird thought, because maybe somebody else has thought about it or thinking about it, but you asking for help, you asking for somebody to explain it to you, showing up, being present, wanting to empower yourself with more knowledge is so important. So when we talk about hope, again, like I said, we're talking about creating those healthy habits and being compliant and consistent, keeping a very optimistic mental mindset. The mental wellness is so important. That mindset is so important of optimism. Practicing the pause, being present, learning the lesson, sitting where you're at and taking the most out of that given moment, and then empowering yourself. So I hope these things resonated with you, and if it didn't, that's okay. We can come back and we can revisit. Maybe you're in a different phase or stage. Maybe one thing stuck and that one thing we needed to stick. Maybe there's something that we could approach it differently, and I'm willing to learn every single time, because I plan to be a clinician for a long time and I want to be the best clinician that I can be. And I can definitely tell you, I've learned a lot from the people who I serve and take care of. And so this is why we need to stay in spaces like this to empower ourselves, to improve what we have to offer and what we have to give. So I just wanted to share some of my favorite quotes about hope, right? If you only carry one thing throughout your entire life, let it be hope. Let it be hope that better things are always ahead. Let it be hope that you can get through even the toughest times. We know about that for 2020. Let it be hope you're stronger than any challenge that comes your way. Let it be hope that you're exactly where you're meant to be right now. Be present. And that you are on the path to where you are meant to be. Because during these times, hope will be the very thing that carries you through. I love that. I found that about last year sometime, and it was just so pertinent for me because it was rough. Adjusting to Corona, COVID-19 was rough. But this was something that stuck with me and brought me some peace. I live for this. Help other people evolve. We're here to help you, to serve you, to keep that process going, to help you be the best you, the best person that you can be, to get the best care, the best education, the best information. This is why we do what we do. And once you choose hope, anything is possible. So I am going to step back and hand it over to Jeanette now and to the wonderful team that's been guiding you guys for so long. I am so honored and humbled to share this space with you and to be able to share some of my passions with you. And I hope one thing, at least one thing resonated. Thank you so much. Dr. Kiti Adderley signing out.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adderley. Thank you for sharing all your messages of hope and wisdom. We really appreciate it. And I'd like to take a moment to basically just add to some of the things that Kiti was talking about. And I prepared a small little presentation as well. And these are just messages that I, typically try to really give to all of my patients as well. So I hope that you'll benefit from this also. So the first thing is, that sometimes we don't even really know what we're truly capable of, right? Like you look at yourself and you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, like, how am I going to get through today? Like I have so many things to do, or maybe there's a big project, or maybe there's like a big accomplishment that you are trying to, achieve, but you think that it's such a Herculean task that you just won't go for it. And it can be very paralyzing. And, you really won't know what you're made of until you actually try it. Because if you don't go for it, you absolutely 100% will fail because you never even tried for it. So, just think about, just trying to make the attempt. And if you fail, you fail. It's okay, but you won't find out until you actually go for it. So please do, just try to get rid of that paralysis as best as possible. And as I've been saying throughout the month, an inch is a cinch and a yard is hard. So even if it's just one tiny step at a time. So let's just say you're trying to write a book. Start with the title page. What is the title of your book? Then the next day, the dedication, the next day, the table of contents. And everything is so fluid. Everything is totally able to be changed at any given time. But the important thing is just to keep moving forward, right? Okay. As I was saying at the beginning of the webinar, I said that it's so important to surround yourself with the people that will definitely support you, right? So this is a quote from Warren Buffett. He says, surround yourself with people that will push you to do better. No drama, no negativity, just higher goals and higher motivation, good times and positive energy, no jealous or hate, simply bringing out the absolute best in each other. And that's like so important, right? Like if you just surround yourself with like a great team, then the work almost does itself by itself, just by the mere fact of surrounding yourself with the right people. And so who are the people on your team, right? Your team will be your lymphedema therapist, right? It is a long-term relationship, you and your lymphedema therapist. So on the one hand, I'm going to share with you that the most important thing is for you to have an open communication. And I'd like to request that if you are working with a less seasoned lymphedema therapist, that you simply be kind and you just keep an open line of communication, because everybody starts out somewhere. And I'll tell you, if I didn't share already early in the month, that I made some really big mistakes, nothing like to the detriment of the patient. But for example, when I started out, I used to tell all my patients that compression garments are absolutely not covered by insurance companies across the board. And so I made so many patients pay out of pocket for their compression garments. And then one day, one of my patients came to me and she said, Jeanette, I came across this, company that checks your insurance to see if compression garments are covered. And it turns out that, I do have coverage for compression garments. And I was like, no kidding. So she gave me that company's name, and I started using them like ever since. And of course, I realized that there are a whole bunch of other companies that provide this service as well. But my point is that, I meant well, I just didn't know any better. And I was so grateful that my patient had the courage to tell me about it, because obviously it's something that I should have known. So, be kind with your lymphedema therapist, just have an open communication. But I would also like to encourage you to know that on the other hand, because it is a long-term relationship, you want to make sure that, it's a healthy relationship, right? That you do have the open communication, and that you are able to express your concerns and your needs freely, and that you are getting the care that is ideal for you. And so if the chemistry is not there, basically, because it's a long-term relationship, it's kind of like getting married. It's kind of like you're going to be checking up with this therapist like every 6 months, and so you want to have a nice relationship. So if that particular therapist is not necessarily having good chemistry with you, you can consider just changing therapists, whether it's within the same organization or down the block, or maybe traveling a little bit farther. But it is important to have a functional, healthy relationship with your lymphedema therapist. So consider that, it's a two-way street. It's not the case that, the first therapist that you went to, that you're going to have to be married to that therapist long-term. So, just make sure that you see if it's a good fit. You also want to have an excellent relationship with your fitter, whether or not that is your lymphedema therapist, because sometimes lymphedema therapists, they partner with certified fitters who will then do all the measuring and even the decision making in terms of the compression garments. And that's another long-term relationship that you want to make sure that you foster and maintain, because there are going to be times where, for example, you might have been a little bit delayed in terms of getting the new compression garment like at the time that it was due. And then you realize that you have a trip that's coming up next week, and you just might need to have your garment overnighted or something. You'll need to have a good relationship with your fitter in order for like you to, make things happen so that you're all set. So that's another relationship that you want to make sure you maintain. Another thing is that, family and family is such that it's always sometimes awkward. You want to make sure that you have a good open communication with your family, because sometimes family members are so eager to help. They want to do anything and everything to help you. They want to put on your garments. They want to roll up your bandages. They want to perform the manual lymphatic drainage on your back. And sometimes as the patient, you're so insistent perhaps on maintaining your independence that you don't want to have any help from anybody. But sometimes it's not that you need help. Sometimes it's just a matter of allowing your family to feel included and be a part of your journey. So, just try to gauge and see like where your family is. If they want to help, maybe you can consider giving them the opportunity to do so. And on the other hand, sometimes family members are overwhelmed and maybe they won't have the time and energy to do it on a given day or a time frame. And so on that note, you want to just maybe see what you can do independently. So it's always like a constant read, right? It's always a constant open communication that you want to like maintain in order to be able to make the best out of everything. Your friends also, same thing. Many friends are just so eager to help in any way, shape, or form. And if they're offering, see what you can do to accept it. A lot of people are so easy to give and give and give and give. And when it's your turn to receive, it's so hard for whatever reason, like you're a selfless person and you just want to constantly help and do for others. But sometimes there are moments where you need to be the recipient. And so when those times come, just try to see if you can just allow it and accept it. And then last but not least, there's the lymphedema community, right? There are organizations such as the National Lymphedema Network, and there are support groups, and there are other people who have lymphedema that you might want to connect with, and it will make your journey feel a little less lonely. And in those cases, by all means, take advantage if that's what you want and if that's what you need. And if you don't need that and you're good, then great. But just know that if you do feel alone and that you do feel a little isolated, that there's a whole community out there waiting to just be connected to. And the National Lymphedema Network is one of them. So I would also like to share that this quote from Michael Jordan. He said that to learn to succeed, you must first learn to fail. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. So how does that relate to you? Well, maybe you've had lymphedema for years, or maybe it's been a short time and maybe you're already feeling frustrated, or you've had it for a long time and you feel as though it's absolutely endless and hopeless. So the thing is that you just want to keep at it and trying to see what is that secret formula that's going to help you. Like, is it MLD every day? Is it bandaging every day? Or maybe you only need to do it like every other day. Everybody's going to have a different menu of lymphedema maintenance tasks that are going to be needed for you to be successful in managing your lymphedema. But it's important to try, and it's important to keep trying to figure out which combination is going to be needed for you. And you might not figure it out in the first year, 2 years, or several tries. But it's important that you keep trying, because at some point, because of all the failures, you're going to find the right combination and you are going to succeed in managing your lymphedema. It's definitely possible. You just have to keep at it, right? And I think this is like one of the most profound lessons I've learned. This was from a course that I took on from Ken Honda, by Ken Honda, and it was on money EQ. And he said that, many times gifts arrive in ugly wrapping. And it could be things like where, you lost your job. And it could be where, you got into a little car crash. And it could be like, and he said that all those moments you could potentially, are most likely, view them as gifts. And so, one thing that I'll share with you, and I share this, quite often, so it's not a surprise if you've already heard this before, but I used to work at a hospital and I made 6 figures and I had a pension and I had insurance and I had all these discount programs and I had like a 403B, and it was like, it was like amazing security. But, I just felt as though there was another calling for me. And, I basically left all of that to basically lead the NLN, basically as a volunteer. And honestly, it was the best decision ever. I am so happy, right? But, the moment that I left, it's like, oh my gosh, like you left all this security, and it could look like quite ugly, but it was such a great gift, and this is all possible because I have an amazing family, an amazing husband who made it all possible, who took all the responsibilities on and let me follow my dream. And my dream is to be here with you, and it is such a privilege to be in this position, leading this nonprofit organization, so that we can do things like this, which will have meaningful, positive, impactful contributions to the community. And so, again, like the next time that something happens and you're like, why me again? Think that it's probably a gift that's just wrapped in ugly wrapping. The next thing to share is this. A shark in a fish tank will grow 8 inches, but in the ocean, it will grow 8 feet or more. The shark will never outgrow its environment, and the same is true about you. Many times we are all surrounded by small thinking people who will not allow us to grow. So if you change your environment, just watch your growth, right? And this goes back to the first thing that I said and what Kiti was saying as well. If you just surround yourself with the right people, and if you allow yourself to take flight and grow and do big things, you can, all right? So just fashion your environment so that can actually happen. And you can think about this in multiple regards, right? So if you think about like a plant that is put in like dry soil that hasn't been, fertilized, without sunshine and without watering, is going to inevitably die and wilt. But if you put it in, fertile soil, you give it water, you give it sunshine, you give it good energy, it's going to thrive. So your environment is so important. And so you want to make sure that you place yourself in a healthy environment that is conducive to helping you to thrive. Health does not always come from medicine. Most of the times it comes from peace of mind, peace of heart, and peace of soul. It comes from laughter and love. And so whenever you're totally feeling down and out, and if you feel like everything is hopeless, just know that sometimes you just need to bring your friends over and just have a good laugh and just surround yourself with love, and you don't actually have to do anything. And that could be the medicine in and of itself. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Someone out there needs to meet someone like you. Just allow your idiosyncrasies to present themselves. Allow your awkwardness and your clumsiness and your weirdness to just, present themselves. I'm a totally weird person. I'm like definitely like crazy, and my husband will definitely vouch for that. But you know what? I just do my thing, and inevitably somebody's gonna like appreciate what I do, and inevitably somebody's gonna appreciate what you do, regardless of your level of quirkiness. So just be you. One of the most important lessons I would say for every single person on this planet is for you to know that you are enough. You are enough regardless of the degrees you have, how much money you make, what your body looks like, how fit you are, what kind of house you live in, what kind of car you drive. You are enough exactly the way you are. You're perfect exactly the way you are. If you can see that and allow that, it's true, right? You don't need to prove anything to anybody. You don't need to, get any degree, win the Nobel Peace Prize to be worthy of anything. You are worthy, and you are enough, and you are self-sufficient exactly the way you are. And if you can come to realize that, all of a sudden the expectations just fall away, and you're at peace and you're happy because you don't have to do anything. You realize that you're perfect just the way you are. And it's true. And I would be remiss if I did not make a plug for an event that is going to be so big later on this year. At the end of the year, well, closer to the end of the year, from October 1st through October 4th, we are going to have our conference, our 2021 National Lymphedema Network conference. And right now we're slated to have it in Boston. We're planning to have like a big in-person event where we're going to have so many different clinical breakouts, because we've had a year, 2 years essentially of not being able to hug each other and touch each other and practice our manual skills. And I'm planning an amazing event where we're going to do all of that. And it's going to be a great way to connect again, patients and clinicians and researchers and doctors alike. So please do keep that on your radar. Keep it as a save the date on your calendar, October 1st through the 4th. It's in Boston. And if you've enjoyed our webinars, you'll enjoy the in-person event far more. So with that, I'd like to thank you so much for the privilege of being here as your host and basically presenting all of these webinars to you. I'd like to thank all of our speakers this month. I'd like to thank my team. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors for their amazing support and for all of their amazing giveaways. They are so generous in so many ways, and that definitely includes Jobs Essity Today. They are a Magenta sponsor, which means that they support us in a very profound way. And on top of that, they are also a sponsor of our garment program, and they give away hundreds of garments away to patients who need them because they have financial need, and their support is extraordinary. So it is now my pleasure to welcome them. We have Margie Hopkins, who is the National Clinical Compression Lead for Essity Jobst. And we also have Melanie Handren, who is a medical advisor for Essity Jobst. And so ladies, thank you so much for being on here today. And thank you for being a part of our last day and concluding our webinar series. And thank you for your giveaway today, which I understand is a survival kit. And perhaps you can tell us what that includes and what that entails. And the floor is all yours.
Absolutely. What a hard act to follow.
Right?
That was very, very motivational. I loved that. Thank you. I'm glad we were a part of the session, Margie.
I totally agree, Jeanette. You are an inspiration, as well as Kiti. I mean, what a great presentation today. So we're excited to be here. We do have a little survival kit for today, which will include a lovely Jobst bag, and we'll have a picture of it in our presentation. But we'll also have a mesh bag and some washing solution. We'll have some of our Cutimed Acute, which is our moisturizing mousse with urea as well for exfoliation. And we'll also have one of our Ariane Donners and a pair of gloves, as well as measuring tape and some of our information for the patient information and education. So a nice little package all rolled up into one.
Margie, I think I want one of those. Just to have. I want a survival kit.
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely get one coming your way as well, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in being eligible for that, I know Jeanette, I think Melanie told me there's a wheel or something that anybody can get their name put on.
Yes, please do. If you are interested in getting an amazing survival kit, please do raise your hand now, and somebody on my team will put your names onto the wheel, and we will do the grand reveal after Margie and Melanie's presentation. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to start sharing my screen if that's okay. And let me find my presentation here. And actually here is a picture of the kit, the giveaway today. And why is it? Let's see. Here it is. So can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So you can see all in one of those nice little backpack bags. So yep, if you're interested, let Jeanette know. And I'm gonna get us started. So Melanie and I talked about what did we want to present for today. And you know, we know you've heard a lot about different garments in these sessions and everything. And, Melanie and I wanted to just review some of the garment things that we have that we can offer you, the different products. But we also want to tell you a little bit more about Jobst as a company and what our employees do and how we're also involved in the lymphedema community. But I'm going to turn it over to Melanie now just to kind of review what some of the products we talked about during these March webinars and just a few things that you might be interested in.
Perfect. So we'll start with the Easy Fit program. This was introduced during COVID, and there wasn't a lot of good things that came out of COVID, but these virtual in-services have really, really been beneficial. And we see this as something that we want to move forward with even after COVID. This slide here is actually talking more to your therapist or your DME, but basically in a nutshell, the program was designed to do a virtual in-service in your home as a patient. So we would be the medical advisor in your area would team up with either your therapist, your DME, your wound care clinic, whoever you're working with, and we would set up an in-service where I or whoever other medical advisor would come in virtually. You would have hopefully like a friend or a family member or somebody that would be there to actually do the measuring and fitting, and then we would just coach them through that process. You would get a packet that would be sent to your house with the measuring tapes, the measuring forms, everything that you need in there. And it's been a really great program, like I said, during COVID for obvious reasons, but also we've been able to reach people that might otherwise have a hard time getting in to see their clinician for fitting or whatever it is. We're able to get into remote areas, obviously, because we're doing it virtually. And it's just been a really, really cool program. Like I said, we've started to do so much more virtually now with the COVID, and this is one of the really exciting things that we can offer to you at home. So let's go to the next slide. And then this slide is just talking again, this would all be set up through your DME, through your therapist, through your wound care center, or through your online biller. And then we would, set that up and get you the packet and everything that you needed for that. So we can go to the next one.
Yeah.
So again, Margie said that we're just going to kind of touch lightly on some of the products. I know some of you have been on other sessions and we may have talked about some of these products during the other sessions, but again, here at Essity, we represent Jobst compression, both custom as well as ready to wear. We have bandaging products, we have Ferromed, which is our adjustable garment, and then we have our nighttime garment. So this first slide here, we're looking at our Velcro wraps, our Ferro wraps, which come in a lot of different compressions, different styles. They come in upper extremity, lower extremity. They can be used in conjunction with bandaging or in place of bandaging. So it's really a nice option, for a lot of people. It can be worn at night. It can be worn during the day. So it's a great product. And then on the right, you'll see all the bandages that we have. We've pretty much got the full line in that as well. So let's move on to the next slide.
Okay.
We also have a full line of upper extremity ready to wear arm sleeves. These would be circular knit. So it's our Jobst Bella Light and our Bella Strong. And again, they come in various compression levels, styles, colors. You can see there's glove options as well as gauntlet options. You can see our little models there on the left. I love what our marketing team has done over the course of the last couple of years. We're actually using live models in a lot of our photos, which I think is really cool. So the two ladies there on the left making a salad are a couple of our live models for that. So go on to the next slide. So we thought this one would be fun since it's spring, and just to remind everybody, so in our Alvarex line, we have a lot of different color options, a lot of different styles. This is our flat knit line, but we also have some new colors that have been recently introduced, and they're really fun for spring. We've got the stone, we've got the aubergine, the denim, the henna, and the graphite. You can kind of just see the array of them that we have here in the pictures. Let's go to the next slide. This is our Jopes Confidence. So this is our newest addition to our flat knit line. We launched it in the 4th quarter of last year. It's currently available in knee high, thigh high, and arm sleeve. And those are the color options that we currently have available. This is a revolutionary product, and the patients that are currently in this, we are getting fantastic reviews. The way this product is knitted is contoured, and so it just, this product fits like a second skin. I mean, people are like, I can't even feel this on me. I mean, I don't know if it's to that extreme, but it is just really, really comfortable. It's moisture wicking, it's cool, and it's just really easy to wear. So that's our Jopes Confidence line. And then nighttime compression, we also have a full line of nighttime compression. For mild to moderate, we have our Jopes Relax, which is there on the right, or excuse me, left, the rosé. It's knitted with Cool Max yarns. It has advanced knitting techniques that increase the breathability to keep patients cooler and more comfortable at night. And you can see from the photo there that it is a little bit more low profile than a lot of the nighttime garments that you may be used to seeing. So it's really a nice product to, you know, what we're seeing being used is not just at night, but maybe, you know, after work, you get home and you just want to take your arm sleeve off. And this is a nice, you know, product to put on and be able to do light chores and whatever before going to bed with it on. And then on the right is our Jopes Jovi Pack, which is more geared for moderate to severe lymphedema. It's an ideal solution for patients with fibrosis that really need sort of more of that stable compression. And it helps to replace multi-layer bandaging. So those are, and there's a full array in our nighttime compression, especially when you talk about the Jovi. We've got, you know, body garments, face garments, leg, arm. So it's really a great product. They both are. So I think I'm going to turn it over now to you, Margie.
All right. Thanks, Mel. And yeah, you know, we have so many garments. So please, if you ever have questions, you know, reach out to your DME, or you can always call our customer service to find out where you can find our products as well. But I did want to talk today a little bit about our core values. And, you know, Jopes really has been, our entire company was founded on compression. And, you know, we've been really engaged with both the clinician and the patient for a whole lot of years now. But I do like to talk about some of the things that we do. So through the Jopes Compression Institute, we do offer complimentary webinars, online CEUs, hands-on workshops. We'll be having some Facebook Live events coming up. And, you know, we just want to try to engage with the community as much as we can, both the clinicians and our, you know, our customers and patients. So we do have a lot of key partnerships that I like to point out. And of course, the NLN is certainly one of our key partnerships. We're also, you know, in partnership with the American Venous Forum, with a lot of vascular surgeons and different venous physicians as well, the American Vein and Lymphatic Society, the LEARN community with the Lymphatic Education and Research Network. And for those of you who don't know, we also partnered with NASA, and we do make garments for our astronauts as well. There are a lot of issues when a person goes into a gravity-free environment like space, and when they come back. So we've been working with NASA for a long time as well. So a lot of great partnerships that we have with clinicians and scientists and the lymphedema community as well. We also do have a commitment to technological excellence. We do a whole lot of testing, and we also have a whole R&D team that works on all our innovations, like Melanie mentioned, our confidence garment was 4 years in the making, and has very specific machines that we purchased just to make that garment. And they are truly unique garments that I have never seen or felt anything like it. And then we also, have a high commitment to a social responsibility. So we do donate garments through like the NLN garment program. And we also do work with other healthcare organizations like Breland's Feet, where we do provide garments and other assistance with bandaging and other things that we work with volunteers who also go to other countries and volunteer their services. And yeah, we're really proud of the work that we do with all the different communities as a global company as well. I did want to mention and point out, we also have revamped our online community for lymphedema, lipedema patients. And that's our Lymph Care website. And I'll encourage you to check it out. We are in the process, and it is going to be rolled out towards the end of April. We have done kind of a Lymph Care 2.0 sort of thing. We initially had started this process several years ago, and lost some of the people that were working on this with us, and we've put a lot of time and effort into it recently. So we're looking to roll this out the end of April, and we will be having a Facebook Live event. So if you don't follow us on Instagram or Facebook, I do encourage you to do that, and then you'll be kind of in the know when we're rolling things out like this. So what will we have on this site? Maybe frequently asked questions, so you can search for answers. You can look up different educational things on lymphedema, lipedema. And really, we want to start a community where you can go and look at blogs or, connect with other people. Like Jeanette said, you are not alone. We don't want you to think you're alone. We want you to have answers to your questions, and also just feel like the things that are happening to you are not in isolation, that there are people you can share that with, and people who will understand. So, I encourage you again, reach out, check this out, and again, look for us to do our Facebook Live event coming up towards the end of the month, maybe beginning of May. We haven't quite set the date yet. So I was wishing I'd have a specific date by now, but I don't have currently. But yeah, here's our social media, our jopes.com, Instagram @jopes_USA, Twitter, jopes4USA, and Facebook, Jopes USA. And make sure you use the USA. There are other countries also that have representation, but so that you get the specifics to us. And that is all we have for today. And today's giveaway is the lymphedema survival kit. So hopefully Jeanette can help us out with that and get us a winner.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll do the giveaway in 1 second. We just have 2 questions for you, Margie and Melanie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The first is from Marcia, and she asked, is the Jopes Confidence Stocking as strong as a flat knit of Elvarex?
Do you want me to take that, Margie, or do you want me to take it?
Yeah, either or, Mel. You can go ahead. Yeah.
So the new Confidence is actually designed for stage 1 and stage 2 lymphedema. It's not going to be as containing as our traditional Alvarex. The traditional Alvarex has a latex core that makes it a lot stronger than a lot of other products out there. So the Confidence is designed for stage 1 and stage 2. It's latex free. And then our traditional Alvarex is designed for stage 2 or above, or stage 1 for that matter. But it's more of a, it's got a little bit more containment factor because of the latex core.
Thank you, Melanie.
Yeah.
Fenton is asking if you, by any chance, have a link to that Facebook Live event that you have that is going to be up in the.
Not quite yet. We look for it on our Facebook page. It should be coming shortly. I'm guessing within the next week we should have our date set. So
thank you. Linda is asking, do any of your compression sleeves have a gauntlet?
Yes, yeah. Our actually all our sleeves have a gauntlet. So we do have a combined Arbella Light. We do have a one piece that's all attached. And then we also have Bella Light, which is a sleeve and gauntlet, or Bella Strong, which is a sleeve and gauntlet. And you can also get Elverex or Elverex Soft with a gauntlet as well.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn is asking if you can please share more info on Cutimed. Describe it, tell us more about it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so Cutimed is a pretty interesting product. It's actually like a mousse, and we have different percentages of urea in it, which is we have a 5% and a 10%. What urea does is help exfoliate, and then the Cutimed is designed to be a very lightweight but moisturizing, so it absorbs really quickly. But the mousse is very, very nice and so easy to apply. So when you're trying to cover large surface areas, something like if you've ever used Eucerin, the traditional Eucerin, it's kind of thick and it's hard to spread. And this is designed to spread very easily, but to be that balanced pH.
Thank you, Margie. And something that has come up a lot throughout our webinars is the idea of putting on moisturizer just before putting on your compression garments. If somebody were to use Cutimed before putting on the compression garments, I mean, granted, it will be a little bit more challenging, but will it harm the garment?
So normally, and Mel, I know we talk about this all the time, right? Because it's really essential for lymphedema patients to use moisturizers. Typically, my recommendation is that they wait until it's absorbed into the skin and then put it on, or use the moisturizer in the evening, not directly before, because it is going to go into the garment and it is going to lessen the garment's life expectancy of the garment. So
thank you very much. And this is the very last question. Marcia asked, do I understand correctly that the Jovi pack is composed of two pieces, a thinner, stretchier black stocking paired with a padded, quilted, heavier leg stocking? Which one is considered the jacket? If the thinner one is the jacket, does it go under or on top of the heavier stocking?
So that's a great question. So the Jovi is a two-part compression system, and the thicker one goes underneath, and the Jovi jacket, which is the thinner one, goes over the top. And they're designed to be worn together to provide the amount of compression that is needed for a patient that's sleeping. So that's a big difference between the Jovi and then the Relax garment that was also on that same slide. The Relax garment is designed to wear with alone, so it doesn't have a two-part compression, whereas the Jovi is a two-part compression system. So hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you very much. And those are all the questions. And so thank you so much, Melanie and Margie, for your presentation, for your time today. And so it is indeed time for your giveaway. And Alyssa Fiorito, our garment program manager, which is very apropos, is going to be doing the wheel. So she has it pulled up on her phone. She entered all the names. And again, just to let all the 30 attendees know who raised their hands, that it was only like the first, if you raised your hand in the first 30 seconds, those are the names that went in. And the winner, congratulations, is Oscar. Yay. Oscar, we know that you have basically been on with us every single day. And so this is so fitting, pun intended, that you are receiving this prize. So thank you so much for your engagement, for your attendance. And honestly, that's a wrap. Another pun intended. So many thanks again to all of our speakers for the month. Many thanks to Margie and Melanie and to Essity Jobs for your amazing sponsorship. Many thanks to all of our sponsors who have given things away, who continue to support us. Thank you to my team, and thank you to each and every single one of you, especially being here on the very last day to make sure that we felt celebrated, like that all of our efforts were not in vain, because if we had a no-show, it would have been so deflating. And so thank you to every single one of you for sticking it through and staying here with us until the very end. And with that, that concludes our webinar series for Lymphedema Awareness Month. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Jeanette.
All right.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.